what's up, everybody? Jazzbro Gonzo here. Another What's Next. Excuse me. A few things for this video. One, you have a bunch of ass clowns in Washington conducting January 6th nonsense. But what's even better is these so-called celebrities that are drooling all over this. Reboot G.I. Joe Snake Eyes gets trashed. And of course, I cannot help myself without slapping Lebroney James again. Let's take a look. Story number one. This comes out of Breitbart. Hollywood celebrities fawn over Adam Kinzinger rage at GOP during Pelosi's January 6th commission hearing. Emphasize Pelosi's commission. It's not bipartisan. It's just her and her ass clowns. Left-wing Hollywood celebrities were glued to their TVs Tuesday with the launch of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's January 6th clown show commission. Their stars could barely contain their emotions as they live tweet their rage at Trump supporters while praising Hollywood stars. And I put nice air quotes around those because when I give you the list, not really. Guardians of the Galaxy Dave Bautista lashed out at GOP leaders during their press conference with F the whole Trumplican party. Quote, these a-holes are twisted AF, projecting self-righteous hypocrites, and that's when they're not just flat out lying. F the whole party. Rosanna Arquette. Does anybody know who she is? Does anybody remember who she is? Oh, that's right. She starred in 2 movies. One with Madonna, the other one is Jean-Claude Van Damme. Enough said. Who has stated that she will always take a knee in protest of the national anthem. Accused the late military veteran Ashley Babbitt of being a terrorist who, quote, wanted to kill. Quote, Ashley Babbitt died because she was a terrorist breaking into the Capitol with an intent to kill. She was not a hero. It's too bad she lost her life being a terrorist against democracy. Actress Sophie Bush, who was one of the few stars who praised Kinzinger, whatever the hell his name is, she also demanded certain GOP leaders be, quote, stripped of their office and titles. And the fact that we have elected officials downplaying this, they should all be stripped of their office and titles, treasonous cowards. Former NBC journalist and California First Lady Maria Shriver also praised his speech, deeply emotional, deeply moving. Rob Reiner, remember? Meathead still fits. Thank you for your patriotism and devotion to seek the truth. In regards to the chain, excuse me. Star Trek actor George Takei. You know, Sulu. If they can get the MAGA base to believe those rioters or tourists or Antifa and these officers were actually dealing with peaceful protesters instead of violent mob, then they can get them to believe anything. It's called facts, George. It's called facts. Look them up sometime. My thoughts. The fact of the matter is that when you have these B-listers, C-listers, and D-listers chirping off about how great this thing is that's going on right now, you know, the clown show that is the January 6th so-called committee, which the fact of the matter is that every time they have one of these stupid little committees, it gets smacked down by the overwhelming majority of the people because they don't want to hear it anymore. We don't want to hear it anymore. It is a clown show. When you have idiots and morons like President Dementia shoot his mouth off, basically saying that this is the worst thing since the Civil War, which of course he lived there at the time. When you have those morons who say this is worse than 9/11, these are the people that you literally have to just ignore, completely ignore, or call them a-holes in the process, because that's what they are. So when you have these so-called celebrities give their opinions mean squat. Their opinions mean squat. Morons, cretins, idiots, that's what they are. They're not worth your money. They're not worth your time. But let's move on, shall we? Story number too. This comes out of Bounding into Comics. Critics eviscerate Henry Golding's Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins, describe it as an unmitigated disaster that shouldn't exist in the first place. Oh, my have the left love to eat their own. At the time of this article's writing, Snake Eyes currently holds a 42% Rotten Tomatoes rating across 91 reviews with a 71% audience review average over 100 verified users. Hence, verified. Yet despite the middling review score, critics have nearly universally found the film to be a waste of time, with some outright tearing apart G.I. Joe's reboot to shreds. Interesting. They destroy this, but yet they love Kevin Smith's He-Man. In his review of this film for Vulture, one critic asserted that the Snake Eyes feels so pro forma, so uninventive and glum, that if you told me everybody making it had a Uzi pointing at their head, I might believe you. The film is debilitating, generic, stripped of creativity, intensity, or grace. He added, I'm not sure an 11-year-old, the 11-year-old in me would be down with this. Johnny Olensky of the New York Post asserted that Golding is so stiff in his first go-around as an action hero, at no point do you care if Snake Eyes lives or dies. Yikes. But does graciously cut him some slack by acknowledging that Golding signed onto an awful material that shouldn't have existed in the first place. Snake Eyes, while slightly better than unrelenting vomit that was the rise of Cobra and Retaliation, added Linsky, advances a storyline that needed not to be advanced because everybody desperately wanted to go away. Focusing on film stars, one reviewer for the Associated Press asserted that The Snake Eyes was an origin story about G.I. Joe character that completely misunderstands its star's appeal. Golding is simply not the right actor for the part. He's not exactly bad, just miscast and misused. He barely has a personality. He's purely driven by revenge. This is Snake Eyes in reference. Also doesn't seem to have to work that hard, at anything. For RogerEbert.com, Simon Abrams found to be the film not a romp, but rather a snooze. Describing his film as a pointless sequel in the headline of his review for The Wrap, observed that the films took Snake Eyes' iconic backstory and transformed that saga into a dispassionate and mediocre action movie. I think you can see where I'm going with this. I agree totally with the critics. The fact of the matter is Snake Eyes should have never been made, but not this way. Snake Eyes could have been done so much better. So much better. One, should never shown his face. Snake Eyes' face was shown one time, and one time only, and that was in the comics in reference to the damage to his face. And he was a white guy to boot. But anyway, let's not, talk about facts. Nothing against Golding. Nothing against him whatsoever, but I agree that he was the wrong actor in this case. From everything that I read regarding the story was lame. The story was weak. It completely ignores his backstory. And that is the crux of an origin story. You gotta have a backstory to have an origin story. Get it? Sadly, just like in Black Widow, it failed. It didn't concentrate enough on our backstory and concentrated too much on other aspects. But G.I. Joe Retaliation was a much better movie than both the original, both the first and Snake Eyes. Doesn't hurt when you got The Rock in the movie, but it's much better than the other trash and nonsense that was before it, or sadly, after it. But hey, you want to say you live and you learn, but get woke, go broke. And now we move on to our final story. And this is just a chuckle story that I like. Once again, anytime that you can slap Lebroney James, it's a good thing. This comes from Outkick. King James' hometown defaces Space Jam mural. He's just a kid from Akron with a clown nose on. LeBron James, hometown of Akron, Ohio, did a little post-production editing to a mural depicting James and his Space Jam co-stars. Along with a clown nose, the vandals, quote, plastered the phrase LA Flop across the mural. The rendering of James and the cast of Looney Tunes characters is located just minutes from James' I Promise school near downtown Akron. Quote, LA Flop is an artistic nod to James' uncanny ability to dramatize even the mildest of fouls. As for the clown nose, there are any number of reasons to depict James in a comical manner: his lack of support for the police, failure to address China, injury complaints, constant need for attention, etc., etc., etc. Not coincidentally, Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny, Lola, Tweety, and Tasmanian Devil were untouched. If LeBron wants to catch the person who did this, maybe he should contact the police. Oh, wait. All right. My thoughts on this to wrap this up. Yeah. Anytime you can give a slap to Lebroney, it's a good thing. Anytime. And I saw this and I was like, yeah, I got to throw this in there. Once again, Lebroney's a clown. He's a fraud, a fool, an embarrassment, uneducated on political issues, and he has no star appeal. Shall I go on? And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.